my scabs. This box maze goes on forever. I'm all for homemade horror haunts like this, but much like everything else, it's better on TV. So you know what that means. It's time for some Halloween trope bubbles. Woo!
Show me that smile again. Creatures of the dark, here we are, coming to scare you by bringing your nightmares to life.
Help! Let me out of this box. I can't breathe. Help! I'm just kidding. Halloween sods are dope, but they do tend to trip into the trope soap.
Now, it's candy corn common knowledge that I'm a huge fan of Halloween and Spookyween decorations. I'm always excited to run into themed stores, turn everything on, and run away. And the same applies to my favorite television holiday memories. Nothing's more fun than making your own haunted attraction. These lovingly fakey, strewn together messes of cardboard, purchased phantoms, and wrangled monsters just feels right. Homemade horror has always made me very happy, and the smell of corn syrup and red food dye makes my heart bleed with happiness. Through the bloody boob tube, we get to see our favorite characters brave a local spook house, or we get to see them lamenting how lame said haunt is.
How you doing, Mr. Thompson?
Hi, girls.
Sir, you're making chainsaw noises with your mouth.
Sorry.
Asshole!
Historians will note that Roseanne was one of the first of the bunch to really carve deep into the holiday with a special almost every year. But the first one includes the very definition of a perfectly handcrafted Halloween hellscape. Note the repurposed items, bottles, jars, and glasses. The close attention to rummaged detail. From Dan's indoor redubbing...
Welcome to the Tunnel of Terror.
To Aunt Jackie's head through the table. Roseanne does rudimentary Devil's Night right. Now compare this to the rich as fuck Dumfies uptown, who clearly spare no expense each year, and are too self-absorbed to get through even one trick-or-treat.
Let me see.
Thank you for joining us.
Other children haven't fared so well.
Welcome to your nightmare. Ha 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 ha.
What the hell?
Now your treats are over here, but with all the fog, you may not be able to see ahead.
And everyone was screaming, "That's him! Get Quasimodo!" And then the townspeople started chasing me, and that's when I wet my pants.
Plus, Roseanne did that head bit a whole lot better.
Welcome to your nightmare. Ha ha ha.
Can we just get our candy?
Okay, come on.
Oh, God. Oh.
I will give this to the Dumfies. They do eventually commit to Halloween to the point of overzealousness, though. Even when they try to do a more friendly greeting, it's met with scathing skepticism.
It's a magic hat. I'm gonna have this bunny jumping out of it.
You gonna put some blood on it? Maybe dangle an eyeball?
Who hurt you?
Who wants some candy? Plenty of.
There's nothing more scary than an enormous family with a never-ending stream of income. At least they didn't book a family trip to Transylvania.
Boring!
Speaking of loaded, the heteronormative parents of Home Improvement are usually pretty ham-fisted, but on one manly Halloween, Tim the Ghoul Man Taylor haunts out the entire That 70s Show set.
Perhaps you would like to try some dirt and worms.
Does this have anything to do with that blood test I took yesterday?
I'm just kidding.
It's not a stein.
But they long for beyond the grave.
Evil in a nylon gown, evil cakes, fiery legs,
I seem to have horked up a little maggot. Now I want to kiss a little kid.
Looks like it's back to jail for me.
There's that Roseanne head trick again, this time in a toolbox. Run the TBS logo decapitated Richard Card!
Come here!
Hey, Mr. Wilson!
Welcome, children of the Scranton. Down at the office, where real people work for a living, the desperate to please Michael Scott tries to put the terror in terrible management, and the whole paper gang gets in on the action with a sweet transportation system and horrifying terrors such as confused zombies, docile madmen, and the world's smarmiest prick. Of course, Michael takes it way too far. When does the documentary drop?
I want to sell your blood.
The Rugrats Candy Bar Creep Show in the garage has all the scary, lumpy-headed freaks of nature you usually find in a Klasky Csupo cartoon, plus the horror of loose, undisciplined children!
Sorry, forgot we were a kids show.
I want my Reptar bar.
Blood!
Tomato, blood,
Ketchup and Pepsi! Blood! If it's babies you're in need of frightening, then stop by the Venture Compound, where the oft-cloned Venture brothers try every year to scare their humorless scientist father and stoic bodyguard.
What is going on up here? I gotta heat up the slugs.
What was that about?
He is impossible to scare.
Normal children like Buffy and her college pals enter the sexy Sunnydale fraternity's haunted house only to find that by accidentally using real-life satanic symbols, they inadvertently have turned all the harmless and stupid decorations into real instruments of terror. Those poor hot morons.
Evil Dead 2.
Wow, Peeled. You guys know how to spoil your guests.
Oh, the air is getting as thick as circus peanuts in here. It must be the Lord's way of punishing me. What have I done to anger you, Satan?
Please, Lord, grant me the power to psychologically torture them into loving you.
Naughty minors like these Forsaken children from Springfield can get a fall soul check in their local hell houses, those terrible religious-based haunts that attempt to scare/brainwash kids from reality.
All we'll do from now on is pray and fight in wars.
God's twisted voodoo creating morality plays of the damned would be the only thing that would give me the boo-boo
I now pronounce you black man and wife.
Of course, even if Christian magic brings the attraction to life, there's still not much to be a reason to be scared.
Gee, nothing's really scary when you have God on your side.
If you're fixated on bringing back Askerican values, check out the Spooktaculific Smiths, whose holiday rivalry with their neighbors causes morose marital friction.
Kill you!
You went to another man's haunted house?
I couldn't help it. I honestly don't know how I got out of there. Hallways spiraled into a black hole, and the weather kept changing, and I was a child again.
But Joe Swanson with legs manages to up the fear factor.
When you see actual serial killers.
Serial killers?
At every Halloween, I take all these IOUs and I hide them in my house.
Scaring the piss out of kids is just part of the rug when this old miser featured in the Halloween edition of Tales from the Dark Side. Parents who owe money to this miserable old fuck force their kids to play his creepy version of hide-and-seek in his tricked-out possessed house in search of their IOUs.
Your head's in a whirl!
My lever-based terror will kill all of these children.
Does each sound effect really necessitate its own lever?
Yo, the name is static, the logic is erratic.
Nights in white satin, never reaching the end.
There's no such thing.
Oh, I love you, Chuck.
people in this valley have it all backwards.
Men belong with men.
Over at the Loud House, show creators disappear into thin air inside Lucy's haunted corn maze.
Fantastic sign work, Luann. Just the right mixture of corn and gore.
Even though it gets pretty abstract, the more frightened you are in it, it's still delightfully homemade and horrifically humble for my taste.
Ready to rock? Oh, mistress of the dark.
Drop down an octave and try it in D minor. That's the spookiest key.
We'll just make a spooky house right here at Casa del Bobby.
Over in Bobo's world, due to Bobby's hydrocephalic head, he can't go trick-or-treating, but awesome Uncle Ted comes by to help transform the place into a proper homemade nightmare, and thanks to a ton of available boxes, he makes a sweet box maze all throughout the house. As a wee monster, I was totally inspired by this episode to make my own attractions at home. Props to Howie Mandel and company for making a totally believable handcrafted home haunt.
To the left, Frankenstein's brain. Up ahead, the floating eyeball. And to the left, the witch's chamber.
Does this have anything to do with that blood test I took yesterday?
It's just sad they never found Uncle Ted. Do you guys smell smoke?
Looks like my E-pen exploded. I knew they were dangerous. Tell everyone! Tell everyone to watch these shows!
And to the left, the witch's chamber.
Cap and a stem, catch a wave on us. Take a shot, make a friend, just enjoy the moment. I'm Luke Skywalking on these haters. Celebrate every day like a